There's a story here, and it's one of personal empowerment and getting super clear on your vision. Welcome back to 7 Moons Astrology. I'm Sarah Kirby, and today we're talking about what's on the horizon for December 2021. We have an astrologically jam-packed month ahead. This is a very big and important time of year. And it kicks off right away on December 1st with Neptune stationing direct. This is a really important transit because once this happens, all planets will be moving direct except for Uranus, which will be moving direct not too long from now. So what I see this representing is a faded time of disillusionment, because we're really still in eclipse season as we begin the front end of the month here. We just had that lunar eclipse in Taurus at the end of November, and the eclipse in Sagittarius, the final total eclipse, is happening on December 4th. So Neptune stationing direct right in the beginning of that really intensifies the symbolism and significations of Neptune in our personal lives. These are things like spirituality, endings, release, shedding. Its representation is connection and unity. And it's about our dreams. It's about illusions and deceptions and disillusionment. So while it's been retrograde, there can be feelings of confusion and a lack of clarity, kind of haziness as we work through our internal landscape. And now, as it stations direct, this can be faded time of disillusionment. This can be connection with our dreams and our vision, and feeling really idealistic about it as we move into a very hopeful and optimistic time during Sagittarius season. And that really is underscored by the total solar eclipse in Sagittarius, which is coming on December 4th in the middle of the night. So December 3rd, December 4th, depending on where you live. And this is an eclipse happening on the new moon. That's what a total solar eclipse is. But it's conjunct the south node. So solar eclipses are typically seen as periods of new beginnings, setting intentions. It's the mark of a new cycle. But because this is conjunct the south node, really this takes on the energy of endings and release and shedding that makes space for a new beginning to come in. So as we are concluding our eclipse cycle for the next 9 years, on Gemini Sagittarius axis of eclipses, this is a finale. This is getting super clear on what needs to be let go of and doing that, letting go of it, releasing it, so that we can prepare for the new cycle to come in. So we'll talk more about all of what that eclipse will mean. It's really powerful because it's conjunct Mercury as well. So Mercury's at its detriment in Sagittarius. So I think a little bit of what that energy is going to feel like is just, there's this big picture vision that we have, and we don't know what the details are. We're not super clear about, how we would take it from step A to step Z. And that's part of what Neptune will do too, as these things are happening at the same time. There's this dream and this ideal vision, and we're hopeful about it. We really are, but there's still definitely a bit of murkiness and a lack of clarity, or really not thinking clearly about what the next steps will look like, or what we even need to be doing on a day-to-day level to make the bigger vision come true. But it ends well, right? Because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and it is that big picture vision, and that's where things start at this time as we call in a new cycle. So, this really is a beautiful, powerful eclipse that will sort of tie a bow on the end of the year. And just after it ends, we begin to actually start to crystallize a little bit about what it is that we want. So we have a conjunction between Venus and Pluto building in Capricorn. Venus is in Capricorn right now, where it will stay for all the way up until March, because it's going to go retrograde in that sign for quite some time. And Pluto has been there this entire year and for a while now, for many years, sort of working on rebirthing structures in our lives, helping us to figure out what we really deeply value and desire, and instituting some type of rebirth process in our lives. So as Venus comes closer to Pluto, this is all about getting crystal clear on what it is we value and desire. Venus rules values, Venus rules pleasure, Venus rules joy, Venus rules everything that is beautiful in our lives. It rules economic systems, it rules food. How do we nourish ourselves? How do we spend our money? Where do we put our energy? What does our energy exchange look like? And what is really important to us on the deepest core level? When those two planets, Pluto and Venus, come together, that's what we've got. And so Venus makes a conjunction to Pluto on the 11th when those things become really important to us at that time. Then we've also got the Saturn-Uranus square that's been happening all year long, coming to a point of exactitude. And this is building all through December. It's coming exact on Christmas. Get a load of that. But it's building, and we can already feel that. So that's part of the story that's happening here. And Saturn square Uranus this year has been about wanting to break free of something, craving more adventure, craving more liberation, a sense of autonomy and independence and control over our lives, trying to create something new that helps us to feel that way, but feeling really, in a lot of ways, restricted, feeling like there is so much structure that impedes us from getting that sense of liberation, and having to put in a lot of work and effort, whether that's inner work or outer work, in order to make it happen. This is all about the don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and having to ensure that what you're building has strong foundations, and therefore having to do it the right way, not the fast way. So that's coming to the third and final square this year, exact on December 25th. And that energy is building as a part of this story while we get clear on our vision, while we figure out what's really important to us, what our values are. And that's very much so a part of the story this December. On the 13th, Mercury will enter Capricorn and Mars will enter Sagittarius. And I really feel like this energy sort of mirrors that Saturn-Uranus square. Mars in Sagittarius is fiery and enthusiastic. It's the side of Sagittarius, I think, it will bring out the side of Sagittarius that throws caution to the wind and just says, I don't care, anything to be free. I'm excited about what's happening in my life. I'm feeling optimistic about what's happening in my life. And so I'm going to take a lot of action, sometimes impulsively, maybe speaking out of turn, maybe just doing that thing that we feel we've always just wanted to do and just going for it and not letting anything stop us. That's a bit of enthusiastic fire sign energy when Mars is there. And with Mercury in Capricorn, Capricorn is that Saturnian side. It's about what are the structures? What are the foundations? What is the work that we need to do in order to make that happen in a long-term, success-focused way? Capricorn really embodies the energy of success. So all the while here, while these planets shift into these signs, they're not an aspect to one another. So there really isn't a direct competition, but there is a balance between feeling enthusiastic and motivated toward adventure and hope for the future and a far vision of what we want, because we're getting clear about what that's supposed to look like as Venus in Capricorn comes into conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn. And all the while we're thinking about what are the details, what is the work, where is the effort, and what structures support me in this way, right? Having to embrace structure in a new way, a structure that we create, and that will make us feel more free, right? So that Saturn-Uranus square is working deeply with Venus and Pluto, Mars in Sagittarius, Mercury in Capricorn as well. And then on December 18th, we reach our full moon in Gemini. Jupiter is beautifully involved in this full moon, and we'll talk a little bit more about what this full moon is going to signify closer to it. But this is a time of really reflecting on the goals that we set in December of 2020 with the great conjunction of 2020 between Saturn and Jupiter. The sun is about to move into Capricorn, and so this is a time of evaluation. It's a time of seeing illuminated the progress we've made on our goals related to Gemini themes, media, travel, vehicles, projects that we have to connect with our community, writing, ideas, the exchange of ideas, learning, courses. So it's very likely that all of us embarked on some journey, a year ago related to those Gemini themes. And this full moon really shows us where we stand with those intentions that we set and what is left to be done. And Jupiter is in trine to the moon, and so it is going to be expanding on all of these things in a really hopeful way. But Jupiter is also the judge. Jupiter is also the judge. So this is going to be a time where we sort of take a step back and see the wisdom that we've gained along the way. So just one day later, Venus begins its retrograde journey in Capricorn, where it will be staying for a couple months, and it will again make conjunctions to Pluto as it passes over those degrees. So December 25th, it will come conjunct again with Pluto. And then we will be also having some conjunctions between Mercury as Mercury makes its way along Capricorn. So all three of those planets, Mercury, Venus, and Pluto in Capricorn, conjunct towards the end of the month, really helping us again to get crystal clear on what it is we value, and then communicating that effectively to the people in our lives and with the projects that we have. So this is really a month about dreams. It's a month about dreams and a rebirth of self, a new beginning that can only come when we close the previous chapter. So there's something that we have to release here in order to make space for that new beginning. And that, of course, is really happening and then opening the space that allows us to get clear about what that new beginning actually looks like. So then on the 21st, the sun will move into Capricorn, and we'll move into the new year. So I think I told you earlier that the Saturn-Uranus square was exact on the 25th. It's actually the 23rd. I'm sorry about that. So the Saturn-Uranus square is the 23rd, feeling it the entirety of the month, so the dates don't really matter. But then we have that exactitude in Capricorn between Mercury, Venus, and Pluto on the 25th. So that whole week of the holidays has got a lot of really intense, crystal clear clarity, I think, which can sometimes come through intense experiences, right? It doesn't necessarily feel good to get that clarity, but there is an element of hope here and optimism that, that contrast gives us a vision. And then on the 28th, Jupiter moves into Pisces, where it will be for much of 2022. It's going to spend the beginning part of 2022 for sure there before it heads into Aries, and then it'll head back into Pisces for a little bit. But while Jupiter is in Pisces, it expands on all Piscean themes. So in our personal lives, again, it's some of those same significations that we talked about with Neptune in Pisces. So, Neptune and Pisces, they're in their home sign. Jupiter ruled Pisces in ancient Hellenistic astrology before we knew about the outer planets. So it's very comfortable in that sign, as is Neptune. So this is a powerful time of connection, unity, spirituality. The veil is lifted. We can feel what is beyond the veil. We feel and we intuit deeply. We have powerful dreams and fantasies and idealistic visions for the future. We're feeling wise and empowered and optimistic and hopeful. And in the collective, we can see things like, again, illusion, deception, the prominence and importance of drugs and escapism, the prominence and importance of deception around themes like pharmaceuticals, right? Because Neptune and Pisces are connected to that energy, and Jupiter expands on everything it touches. So, that's part of the energy that will carry us into the Gregorian calendar, New Year. And this month, I think, on a personal level, we're going to be feeling really a sense of knowing about what is to come. And it doesn't mean that we'll have all the details figured out, but we will have a greater sense of clarity about where we're headed. So this will be a hopeful month on a personal level. The collective will certainly look different, but just maintain your own alignment and your own frequency and your own experience of the energy to help elevate the collective entirely. So that's what's on the horizon for December 2020. Thank you for watching with Energy.